Hey, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're digging into a real puzzle, Nepal. It's a country with just immense potential, but for some reason, it seems to be trapped in a loop of stalled progress. So, we're going to break down a recent analysis that asks why this is happening and what the path forward might actually look like.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, A Promise Unfulfilled. You see, to really get what's going on in Nepal, you have to understand this fundamental clash between the promise of the nation and its day-to-day reality.
On one hand, you've got this incredible dream right there in the Constitution. It talks about good governance, equal opportunity, prosperity for everybody. But then you look at the daily reality for most Nepalis, and it's a story of political instability, total administrative chaos, and a sputtering economy. This isn't just a small gap, it's a massive chasm.
So what's really going on here? I mean, why is this gap so huge? Now, it's easy to just point a finger and say, well, they just don't have enough resources. But the analysis we're exploring today argues that no, that's not it. The real issue is something else entirely, something much, much deeper. Which brings us to our second section, the crisis of competence. According to this analysis, a lot of Nepal's problems can be traced back to one single corrosive issue at the very heart of the system. And here it is. I mean, this quote just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? The argument is that the single biggest thing holding Nepal back isn't a lack of money or a lack of potential, but a system that actively, systemically promotes incompetence. That is a really powerful and provocative claim, so let's dig into what that actually means.
So, what exactly is this promotion of incompetence? Well, basically, it's a system where the most important jobs, the ones that shape policy and the future of the country, aren't given to the most qualified people. Instead, they're handed out based on political connections, family ties, and party loyalty. It's a culture where who you know completely trumps what you know, and real expertise gets pushed to the sidelines.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is how it plays out in the real world. We're talking about key appointments, from the heads of government ministries to the leaders of universities, all being decided by political loyalty. It means that brilliant policy documents full of expert recommendations just end up gathering dust on a shelf. And every time a new government comes in, national plans get thrown out the window, so there's zero continuity and zero accountability.
Now, as you can probably imagine, a system like this creates a massive domino effect. So let's follow that cascade of consequences and look at what the data tells us about the real-world impact. This one number, it just says so much. Over 24 prime ministers since 1990. Think about that. The analysis calls it a game of political musical chairs, and for good reason. The average government there lasts for less than a year. With that kind of constant churn, how can any long-term plan or serious policy ever actually get off the ground? It's pretty much impossible. And of course, all this political chaos spills over into the economy in a huge way. The official unemployment rate is already over 10%. But honestly, the real story is what that number doesn't even show, which is a massive hidden crisis of underemployment. You've got tons of skilled, educated people who are forced to take jobs far, far below their skill level just to make ends meet.
And when your institutions are weak, when jobs are about loyalty instead of integrity, well, this is what you get. A ranking of 107th out of 180 countries on the Global Corruption Perceptions Index. When accountability is basically non-existent, corruption stops being an exception and, as the source puts it, it becomes an institutional culture.
And all of this leads to what is maybe the most devastating consequence of all, the human cost. Because when opportunity dries up at home, people vote with their feet. The numbers here are just staggering. Over 2.1 million Nepalese are living and working abroad. In just the last fiscal year, over 1.6 million new labor permits were issued. This isn't just a brain drain, it's a future drain. The country is literally bleeding its most valuable resource, its people. Okay, so it's really easy to look at all this data and feel pretty pessimistic. But here's the thing, the analysis doesn't just diagnose the problem and leave it there. It actually offers a clear, multi-step strategy for a national renewal.
So here's the game plan. It's a 4-point attack. First, reform politics from the inside out. Demand transparency and actual democracy within the political parties. Second, empower the bureaucracy. Make hiring and promotions truly about merit, not about connections. Third, get politics out of the universities. Let them be centers of learning, not political playgrounds. And finally, and this is so important, mobilize citizens to use their rights and demand accountability from the top down.
Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a fundamental shift in mindset. You have to flip the script. The source argues that for far too long, development has just been used as a tool for political gain. The goal is to reverse that and finally start using politics as a tool for actual, real development. And this all brings us to our final section and to the urgent, critical choice that the nation is facing right now. This right here is the core takeaway. The analysis suggests that the truly revolutionary thing to do is to change the question people are asking. It's not about which party should I support anymore. It's about who, which leader, which individual has the competence and the integrity to actually deliver results. It's a massive shift away from blind party loyalty and towards a demand for genuine capability. So Nepal is standing at a crossroads with two very, very different paths forward. Path one is the status quo. It's just accepting this cycle of nepotism, instability, and stagnation. But path two is what the author calls a cultural renaissance, a conscious, collective decision to build a new system, one that's founded on merit, on transparency, and on real citizen participation. Now, taking this second path isn't going to create miracles overnight, but it will lay the foundation for real, lasting prosperity. The analysis is clear on one thing. Nepal has the potential. It's absolutely there. So the only question left is a powerful one. Does it have the courage to choose it? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.